All I'm saying is that if Barou scores another hat trick this game, we might just have a new main character from now on. Yo, what's going on everybody, it's Animasu, as always, bringing you guys another weekly theory video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some of my personal theories for chapter 229, as well as looking at some of your theories from my comment section and community Discord. If you guys enjoyed these types of videos, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, comment on my videos, and even join the community Discord if that interests you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and please enjoy the video. Now as always, before we get into the theories, let's take a look back at some of the important events from chapter 228. With both Isagi and Kaiser arriving to defend against Barou, they had limited him down to only two shooting options here, being either near or far post. Making the surprising decision to cut in, however, instead of taking the shot, Barou proceeds to then get instigated to another degree by Mark Snuffy himself. Literally telling the king that he'll accomplish nothing and calling him a stupid brat, Snuffy has managed to piss Barou off enough to actually get a response. While positioning himself better for the shot, Barou tells them that he's been aware about his ego since he came to Bluelock, but even so, he'll go on to change the world with it. Taking the final touch to set up his shot, the king is willing to push himself into a thorny, destructive path if there isn't already one to take. Pulling back his leg to shoot, Barou says that he refuses to live in somebody else's predetermined future, because if he's going to be the #1 king, it will be while he's still an unruly brat. Swinging his leg through the ball and rocketing it off, both Isagi and Kaiser are stepping in to deflect the shot. However, it's too late. Having to turn around to watch the ball, Isagi has realized a little too late what has happened, with Barou literally threading the shot straight between their legs. That's not even it though, because as the ball continues on towards Mark Snuffy and Noel Noah, it gets even crazier. Waving his hand at the two masters, Barou yells at them to move out of the way, as this right here is his future. This seems to even work here by motivating Snuffy to help, as he then pressed himself up against Noel Noah to help set up for the shot. Going on to raise his leg to allow passage for the ball, neither Gagamaru or Isagi are able to do anything as they watch. With the shot splashing into the net, the score is now tied at 2-2, as Barou has now equalized the game with his 5th Neo Egoist League goal. With that little recap out of the way, let's get right into the theories, starting with the chapter 229 title. Now first and foremost, with 229's title being Underdog, I want to introduce and explain the two people that I find to be the most likely candidates. Starting off with the main character himself, I believe that there's a 70% chance that 229's title is in reference to Isagi Yoichi. Now apart from the obvious interpretations and reasons that he's the underdog, let's take a look at what Lorenzo even had to say about him. After Isagi's first interception on Barou at the start of this match, everybody was shocked and thrown into a spiral by his lefty direct shot. Lorenzo, however, just calmly walked up to him here, as he tells him that his play wasn't that bad, assuring Isagi that he's definitely worth more than 50 million. So we have a new Generation 11 player saying verbatim that Isagi is definitely undervalued, and right there is not the only time he'd surprise the Ubers. I think that in Isagi's case here specifically in relation to the title, it may just be talking about him being the underdog striker here compared to Barou. With obviously Barou sinking in that triple nutmeg shot, Isagi is going to be doing some serious game reflecting in the next chapter, which will probably be where we would get this chapter's title. With Barou having 5 Neo Egoist League goals compared to Isagi's only recently acquired 1, he'll definitely be viewed as the lesser underdog striker here in comparison. The only problem I have here with Isagi being the underdog is that he does have some quite amazing accomplishments and highlights, ranging from the U20 game itself throughout the entire NEL. Now like I said, maybe it's just in reference to him being slept on in this here specific matchup, but on an overall scale, I would never classify this GOAT as an underdog. Moving on to the second character that I think could be the underdog, we obviously need to take a look over at Yo Hiori and what could possibly become of him this game. With Hiori literally being featured on Volume 24's cover, which covers the starting chapters of the Ubers game, the fanbase was already speculating for his inclusion long before today. I believe the first chapter that we officially got hints of his substitution was around 221, which was titled Take Me With You. Now the title itself is in direct reference to Yo Hiori's words specifically, as he says them at the very end of the chapter. After Kaiser's super goal, Isagi's hard work put in for it, Yo Hiori begins to lean forward in his chair and focus harder on the game. He admires their skill and the fun that they're having displaying it, so he says to Isagi in his mind, "Take me with you." Flashing forward to chapter 225, we find Isagi and Yukimiya attempting an offensive against the Ubers, as we once again see solely Yo Hiori's reactions. As Yukimiya sends up a lob pass to Isagi there, Yo Hiori literally says no out loud as he was subconsciously reading the play and their movements from off of the field. As Igarashi then yells out in admiration of Yuki's pass, calling it perfect, Hiori just kinda stares up at him in confusion as he says that a lob pass will not work there. Sure enough, as the chapter then cuts to Isagi's point of view as he's watching Snuffy leap for the ball, he literally says that that's not what I wanted. I needed a fast pass sent to my feet. With Snuffy then clearing the ball away from Isagi due to his jumping superiority, their golden opportunity is now gone. No, Isagi's guaranteed goal there is now gone. His vision there was perfect through and through, however he was one step short. In order for him to outread somebody with world-class football IQ, he needs an ally that can see the same game as him. Even as he's thinking this, it once again shows only Yo Hiori on the bench, thinking about how he saw that play perfectly. Now obviously, you guys don't need any more proof here about this, so let's talk a little about Yo Hiori's purpose in this game. Obviously coming in with his main purpose to assist Isagi, or possibly even Kaiser too, who knows. His main reasoning is to build value more than anything. In order to develop an ego, become a U20 starter, and continue along with Isagi, Yo Hiori is going to have to build up some bids in the NEL. How could he do this though, you may ask? Well, simply through either assisting his team for the game-winning goal, or if the Ubers are really destined to win, then by proving his worth with some perfectly placed itoshi side-level passes. If he can truly read the game at the same level as Isagi, then Yo Hiori would serve as the perfect playmaker for Bastard München, possibly just making Ness seem like a joke. Just like Shido and Ren, I really don't believe that Isagi and Kaiser can fully work together, so maybe it's Hiori here that will control these options like his pieces. Well, that is, if Barou doesn't score another hat trick this game. Now I know, it sounds absolutely outrageous and should almost never happen in this manga, but it just might, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, chapter 228 brought with it Barou's second goal, which has now equalized this game at its match point. After sending the field into chaos and warping the Uber's strategy and plays to conform to his twisted way of playing, it's possible that Barou is just too big of a threat for Bastard München to handle. At the very start of the game in chapter 210, the commentators' questions about what was in store for this game all turned out to be 100% right. Will the 100 million man Barou follow up his hat trick with another excellent performance? Even straight away, we were foreshadowed about Barou's dominant showing, but let me just show you even further. They say, will Isagi Yoichi score his first NEL goal? Well, obviously we know he almost scored 2 this game, but they keep going for the 3-3. Or will Kaiser outshine them all with his devastating Kaiser impact? Yeah, bicycle Kaiser impact. Is there really more I have to say? Anyways, moving on to how Barou would score this hat trick, I actually have an interesting thought process that doesn't require Barou to even do much. With Yo Hiori's substitution being a possibility, what if his ability to control the field, link Kaiser and Isagi, and his overall passing plays are just straight up infuriating to Ness? With a situation then possibly occurring where Kaiser would compliment Hiori while insulting Ness, what if Alexis Ness here actually goes on to throw the game for his team? Hiori will have already shown out and gained his value here, but it's possible that Ness will just seal the ball, ruin a play, or just do some stupid team foul shit that will overturn the ball. This could then end up converting into a goal for the Ubers, which would lose Bastard München the game and potentially even Ness's spot for the starters. This would then give Barou his second hat trick that would be insane, but it would also give Yo Hiori some slight value in the NEL, but more importantly a starting position as he would replace Ness in the next game. This is all really just speculative, however feel free to share your opinions on these down in the comments. Speaking of which, I think now is the perfect time to take a look at some of your theories for chapter 229 that have been shared with me via my community tab or Discord. Starting off with some theories from over here on YouTube, we have the man himself Smask who's really cooking here for you guys. He too believes that Yo Hiori will obviously be the referenced underdog, but his idea of how he will impact the game is pretty crazy. Obviously, he's expecting Hiori and Isagi to have some link-up plays, but it would be even better if he somehow linked up with the trio of Isagi, Kunigami, and Yukimiya. Now this would be an amazing outcome in my opinion, due to the fact that the title underdog wouldn't have just been in reference to Hiori then, but rather some of our fallen heroes such as Yukimiya and Kunigami. Just a little note from him too here, he believes that the next goal won't take place for another 3 to 5 chapters, which I've been saying to y'all too, which will leave this match ending off around 234. The PXG match would then go on from chapters 238 to 275, for what he wants to be a 40 chapter long action-packed match. Make sure to let me know what you think about all this in the comments, because I know that I've had a ton of people asking about the estimated end of the Ubers game and the start of the PXG game. Moving on to our second YouTube commentary theory from Dando, he actually tells us his predicted outcome for the next few chapters. With the Masters coming off the field with Yo Hiori subbing in, he and Isagi are apparently going to blitz the entirety of the Ubers. Just as they're going to score, however, the Ubers player Nico comes in at the last second, stopping their shot in a similar way to how Isagi did Chris Prince. Nico would then play along to all of Barou's plans to later then assist him in his third goal, confirming the hat trick. But the first thing that I want to point out is I don't believe Isagi and Hiori will necessarily blitz the Ubers, as that's already happened this match with Isagi and Corona. Anyways, the other thing that he says is Nico would stop being a snuffy robot, but let me just remind you guys that Nico was actually the first to break formation. In his first showing of Metavision this match, Nico fouled Isagi in a play that entirely went off of Snuffy's script, and even now I wouldn't call him Snuffy's pawn. Now for our final theory of this video, you already know that we had to pull one from the Discord, which the link will be in the description if you're interested in joining. One of the community's dope-ass artists decided to cook up some theories instead today, with him believing that the first half of the chapter will just be Barou shit-talking Isagi. Snuffy and Barou will then come to an agreement, leading into the Masters being subbed out for the supposed underdogs, which he believes to either be Hiori Yo or Kiori Jin from Bastard München, and subbing back into the Ubers would be Sendo Shudo. Now I believe that Barou and Isagi arguing would be pretty hilarious to see, considering that Barou has all of the leverage now, but I honestly think that Isagi will keep himself a little humble here, preparing to prove himself in this match's finale. Another thing that he also goes on to say is that the final goal will be none other than all of her aikus in a later chapter, which honestly, I'd much rather prefer over another Barou hat trick. This would be a great way to solidify Aiku's earlier potential as a striker and further push the Bluelock style onto the U20 players. Now once again guys, Bluelock's chapter 229 will be on break for a week, so I believe that the official release of it will be delayed until the 21st. Don't worry however, because I do have some amazing videos for you guys in the meantime, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you have any video ideas of your own that you'd like to share, feel free to drop them in the comments as well, as I might just end up using one of them. As always, thank you all so much for watching my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, feel free to click that subscribe button, comment your thoughts on the videos, or even join the community Discord if that interests you. I appreciate the recent support so much, and I hope you all have an amazing day.